Okay, you've learned triads, the chord triads. Now you're going to learn about seventh chords. A seventh chord is the combination of a triad and an interval of a seventh. So there are 5 types of seventh chords that are commonly used. A major triad and a minor seventh combine to form a dominant seventh chord. Dominant seventh chords are abbreviated with a simple 7. So let's examine a C dominant seventh chord. C, E, G is the major triad. C to B flat is the minor seventh. When you combine those, they form a C dominant seventh chord. C, E, G, B flat. Okay, let's look at an F sharp dominant seventh chord. F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp is the major triad. F sharp and E is the minor seventh. Put them together and you have an F sharp dominant seventh chord. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, E. Okay, so now let's look at an A flat dominant seventh chord. A flat, C, E flat is the major triad. A flat to G flat is the minor seventh. When you combine those, they form an A flat dominant seventh chord. A flat, C, E flat, G flat. A major triad and a major seventh combine to form a major seventh chord. So you have the dominant seventh chord with the minor seventh. You have a major seventh chord with a major seventh. So major seventh chords are abbreviated with a capital M and a 7. So let's look at the C major seventh chord. C, E, G is the major triad. C to B is the major seventh. When you combine those, they form a C major seventh chord, C, E, G, B. Okay, now let's examine an F sharp major seventh chord. F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp is the major triad, and F sharp to E sharp is the major seventh. When combined, they form an F sharp major seventh chord. Okay, let's examine an A flat major seventh chord. A flat, C, E flat is the major triad. A flat to G is the major seventh. When you combine those, they form an A flat major seventh chord. A minor triad and a minor seventh combine to form a minor seventh chord. So far we've had the major triad with a minor seventh for the dominant or a major seventh for the major. Now we're moving to minor triads. So we have a minor triad and a minor seventh, and it's called a minor seventh chord. Minor seventh chords are abbreviated with a lowercase m and a 7. So let's look at a C minor seventh chord. C, E flat, and G is the minor triad. C to B flat is the minor seventh. When you combine them, they form a C minor seventh chord. C, E flat, G, B flat. Let's do it with F sharp. Create an F sharp minor seventh chord. F sharp, A, C sharp is the minor triad. F sharp to E is the minor seventh. When you combine those, they form an F sharp minor seventh chord, which is F sharp, A, C sharp, E. Okay, let's look at an A flat minor seventh chord. A flat, C flat, E flat is the minor triad. A flat to G flat is the minor seventh. When you combine those, they form an A flat minor seventh chord. Okay, a diminished triad and a minor seventh combine to form a half diminished seventh chord. So a half diminished seventh chord they are abbreviated with a slash circle and a 7. Let's look at a C half diminished 7th chord. C, E flat, and G flat is the diminished triad. C to B flat is the minor 7th. When you combine them, they form a C half diminished 7th chord. Okay, let's create a half diminished 7th chord on F sharp. So F sharp, A, and C is the diminished triad. F sharp to E is the minor 7th. When you combine them, they form an F sharp half diminished 7th chord. F sharp, A, C, E. Let's do it with A flat. An A flat half diminished 7th chord is A flat, C flat, E double flat. I'm sorry, that's the diminished triad. A flat to G flat is the minor 7th. So when you combine those, they form an A flat half diminished 7th chord. So that is A flat, C flat, E double flat, G. So finally, a diminished triad and a diminished 7th combine to form a fully diminished 7th chord, or diminished 7th chord. Diminished 7th chords are abbreviated with an open circle and a 7. So let's create a C diminished 7th chord. C to E flat to G is the diminished triad. C to B double flat is the diminished 7th. When combined, they form a C diminished 7th chord. Okay, let's create a diminished 7th chord from F sharp. F sharp AC is the diminished triad. F sharp to E flat is the diminished 7th. When you combine them, they form the diminished 7th chord for F sharp. And finally, let's examine an A flat diminished 7th chord. So A flat, C flat, E double flat is the diminished triad. A flat to G double flat is the diminished 7th. When combined, they form an A flat diminished 7th chord. A flat, C flat, E double flat, G double flat. So here are the 5 common types of 7th chords. They're either built on a major triad, a minor triad, or a diminished triad. And then you add the 7th interval, either a minor 7th, a major 7th, or a diminished 7th. And the different chords are the dominant 7th, and here is the abbreviation that you add to these chords. So dominant 7th, a major 7th, a minor 7th, half diminished 7th, and diminished 7th.